Hi everyone. So let's get started. So a very good evening, everyone. This is Bhavna, and due to bandwidth issue, I'm so sorry that I'm not able to turn on my camera. So I am the marketing operations manager at Ambi Software, and I welcome you all to this webinar. We are truly delighted to have you all join us today. And today we have with us Tech Mogul and Solution Guru from Adobe. She'll be sharing hacks as how we can make the most with Adobe CCT Pro and Stock, and how this will help you grow your business and manage apps better. But before we start, let me just take 5 minutes and introduce Ambi to you all. At MP, our mission is to enable organizations transform with technology in a digital mobile first data driven world. And so far, we have successfully transformed over 2,500 plus organizations. Uh, so, how do we drive transformations? We at MB bring in the technology expertise with strategic thinking for transforming the IT, improve business agility for our customers, empower them to do more, be more with a digital workplace. The story doesn't quite end here. We also make sure that the technology solution delivered is well embraced and utilized to its full potential by its users. Uh, so this way, technology adoption remains a very core empowerment throughout the process. And with 24 by 7 managed services, we also aim at helping customer focus on what matters for their business, leaving technology to us. So to give you all a view into Ambi as an organization, we have successfully been in the business for more than 35 years now. We have close to 1,200 plus customers with whom our engagement stands at being decades old. Our presence is pan-India with 8 locations across the country. And with financial year 2023, we have reached $250 million revenue. Our heart of service is cloud transformation with deep expertise in data modernization, Azure-based security, application modernization, and more. Speaking of transformations, we have done more than 1,000 successful on-time, on-budget project implementation in the last 3 years, and of course, this would have not been possible without our 700 plus strong workforce committed to customer success. So this is the leadership team that we have at MB. So Mr. Sudhir Kotari is the CEO and Managing Director. And we have Mr. Kuldeep Raina, who is into cybersecurity, who heads the cybersecurity. Shivani Sharma, who is the Chief Marketing Officer here at MB. So moving to the next slide. So this is our qualified Microsoft partner, and these are our status and specializations. We are also, we are into cloud security, digital and app innovation, infrastructure, modern work enterprise, data and AI. So this is our specializations basically. This is the list of our customers, existing customers that we have. This is just to name a few. Uh, So here is a very high level view of our solution buckets. We offer solutions based on infrastructure and platform modernization powered by Microsoft applications and data, where we offer applications built on Microsoft Teams. And we also have our own IP, which is Octane HRMS. And we are also key partners with Adobe and SAP as well. We also have system integration services powered by 24 by 7 managed services. So this is all what MB is all about. And this is all from my side. Now, I would now like to invite our key speaker, Alicia Faleiro, Digital Media Creative Solution Consultant at Adobe, to take the presentation forward with the audience. So, Alicia, welcome to this webinar. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Bhavna, and welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. And let's begin. And to actually begin with, I shall be addressing questions and answers towards the end of this session. If anybody would like to raise a question at that time, please drop it on the chat box and we will look at them towards the end of the session. So let's get started. Um, so we are here to talk about how we can supercharge content creation with generative AI and of course with Creative Cloud for Teams and Adobe Stock. Yeah. Moving on, this is the agenda for the day. We're going to talk about the build up towards generative AI because that's the talk of the town, the value of generative AI, and Adobe's approach and solutions. A few customer examples, and we'll end it with a question and answer session. So, as we all know, today's digital and screen-driven world, especially with growing hybrid workflows and workforces, has changed how we communicate and do business, right? And consumer expectations have been evolving like anything, and they are now more empowered, and they want now businesses to deliver content, at the right time, in the right format, in the right channel. And the correct, absolutely correct, and very personalized kind of content. So we did a study at Adobe, and we found out that investing in customer experience actually impacts the business in some or the other way. And this is the result that we have. It drives growth in brand awareness, the revenue rates, customer retention, of course, which takes us to to the next point, that people nowadays, these empowered consumers or customers that we are catering to, are buying experiences and not the products, right? So let's look at a few numbers over here. Consumer experiences, of course, are driven by content. And to deliver the right kind of experiences, businesses are under pressure to keep up with an exploding demand for to create these content, right? 71% of companies, they expect companies to deliver personalized interactions. Videos are the most viewed format or considered format nowadays. And consumers look out for brands who personalize their content for them, especially, right from the time you wake up to the time you sleep, you are bombarded with the content which is actually personalized for you, and that's what the need of the hour is. Moving on, we can expect content demand rise by 5 to 20% over next 2 years. And expected high demand in content results in a lot of things. If you see, teams are always overflooded with the workload, they struggle to have an efficient workflow. Creative departments, especially in the organizations, they end up spending so much of time in mundane tasks, especially when it comes to adaptations or personalizing content for each and every geographical area, to different age group in different languages. So it's not just one hero image or a hero content that these departments try to create, but it's the adaptation or personalization of these content to various other formats and various other languages, depending on the geographies that they're catering to. It kind of overloads so much that there is a huge fear with the blank canvas. The inception of new concepts becomes really tricky, and you spend like 21 hours plus hours um, in your mundane tasks, so which is like taking maximum of your hours or days throughout the week. And of course, these inefficient workflows slow down your projects, and which in turn, the time to market for these products or concepts is very slow. And the result is uh, burned out employees, overburdened employees, stale brand presence. You're not able to bring out something fresh to the audience, right? Which is why we talk about a new capabilities of generative AI. Talk of the town, of course, you and I, we all know about it, and how it's going to help make our workflows more efficient, our work more productive or more seamless. is what we're going to see today. Let's look at a few more numbers here. Uh, India is considered as the second market in use of AI with 99%, a huge number after New Zealand, if you see. And a lot of businesses are trying to use AI in their workflows, in the way they work, and try to become more efficient and productive. And that does not leave Adobe behind, right? It's not just now. Adobe creative folks in the room, I'm sure, must be aware that 10 years back, Adobe started with content aware feel. That was AI in itself, right? I mean, manipulating the surroundings and the data which is there on the canvas and then filling it up is an AI, and Adobe has a long history in it. Earlier last year, we introduced Adobe Firefly, a collection of generative AI solutions by Adobe for the creative and non-creative folks. I would say designer and non-designer, we are all creative here, be it from any stream, sales, marketing, or not, it is not restricted to designers anymore. So let's look at more about Adobe Firefly that we introduced last year. And there are three things that we need to definitely look into. The integration part of it. I'm sure there are a lot of, is anybody wants to say something? I request everybody to please mute their calls. Yeah. Thank you. And yes, I was talking about how it is integrated in all the Creative Cloud softwares, be it Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere Pro, as a standalone website as well. Also, in a power tool for marketers is what I call Adobe Express, and that's the greatest USP of Adobe Firefly, because you are not downloading a lot of things on your system. You are not adding any plugins. It's all like one big family, which is integrated, and the solutions are all integrated amongst themselves. And it is designed to be commercially safe. Why do we claim that? Because whatever you generate out of Adobe Firefly, all the output that you get out of your prompts, simple prompts, is all trained on Adobe Stock repository. Nothing from openly licensed content over internet. Nothing which has got copyright, nothing which is unethical to use. It is completely trained on Adobe Stock, 375 plus million assets that we have on Adobe Stock. So it's permutations and combinations of what brings out to you, as a form of your generations on Adobe Firefly. And enterprise friendly extensibility, a lot of options, a lot of solutions for scaling your creations, scaling your creatives, and of course the way we collaborate. How can you be on brand, or how do we provide you solutions to be to consistent according to the brand style guides that you all have, is all that we provide with Adobe Firefly. So Firefly, as I mentioned earlier, it is available on Creative Cloud. Generative Fill, Generative Expand. I'm sure a lot of you who are creative out here might have already experimented. It was quite a talk of the town all over our social media pages last year. And generative recolor and text to vector, one of the best capabilities. It's very difficult to get vector generations in Illustrator. Adobe Stock, we have generative AI in Adobe Stock as well. Adobe Express, the power tool for marketers, as I mentioned, and Firefly standalone web app. A lot to happen there. And we continue to build these solutions as I speak in all the apps that we use today. If you see here, generative fill, generative expand, reference image, and whatnot. This all boils down to one major thing, which is the Creative Cloud Pro for teams, an integrated platform with all the tools to quickly deliver content at scale. Desktop plus mobile apps, connected services, Adobe Stock, which is accessible across these apps, and AI and machine learning to help use work smarter and faster. After this, let's talk about the major or the basic steps towards creating creatives or any kind of content that you want for your client, or your client wants to create in association with you. Ideation bit, People have this fear of a blank canvas. And at Adobe, we believe that we ideate with confidence. And the major two solutions with that are Firefly and Adobe Stock. How do we create or ideate with confidence with these two solutions? Whenever we start with any concept, anything that comes to our plate, we often go to any search engine, right? We often go to Google, for example, and look at what's happening in the industry. So, say, for example, travel, for instance, and you want to find out what's happening in the industry, any inspiration that you might want to look at, what other brands are doing in the same space. I give you much better parametric platform, which is Firefly and Adobe Stock. Let's move to an actual demo. If you want to have a look at a quick video here, it's a text to image capability in Firefly right here on its standalone web app. As you can see, it's parametric, but let's look at a live demo. This is the platform. I'm sure many of you might have already seen this. And if you go through this, we have text to image, generative fill, generated template. So yes, text to template capabilities, which I'll shortly explain. Generate a vector, recolor, text effects, and an entire community to inspire you for your creations. If at all you find it difficult to come up with different prompts, please feel free to explore here and you'll get a lot of inspiration or understanding how to write a prompt. Adobe Firefly is not rocket science. It does not need any prompt engineer to kind of script write the prompt for you, or it's very difficult. It understands your simple language, and that's the way to go about it. So let's start with a simple prompt. I have a prompt list here, and let's look at a sneaker. So say, for example, I belong to a e-commerce platform and I want to see some fashion related products and something very unusual where I have a sneaker which is made up of plants, leaves, flowers, etc. There you go. Not bad, right? Simple text to image. And as you can notice, the content type here is art. It's using the latest image model to give you the best of the results. You can select any aspect ratio that you want. So whatever size you want to create, usually you cater to these ratios, and these four ratios are great to help you with all the kind of adaptations that you want to create for, or creative artboards that you want to create for. And very soon we might have a custom size also available here. The type of content is something that you can select. Composition and styles is something I'll refer in some time. A lot of effects to select from, be it layered paper, hyper realistic, be it in can explore more and more here, fantasy, glitch art, cyberpunk, you name it and you have it. A lot of color tones to select from. Not only that, lightings, you can create your studio effects here with any of the objects that you want. And in case if there is an effect or a lighting that option that is not available in the parameters, you can always write that down in your prompt. And a lot of camera angles to select from. Shallow depth of field works wonders. So let's try a few more prompts. So say let's look at a fantasy character. Let's allow it a few more seconds. Here you go. Interesting, right? Let's try it in a landscape version. Not only that, it gives you suggestions in case you're writing some prompt. It gives you suggestions as to if you want to create some kind of a fantasy world out there or some kind of landscape, you can create that. And it also accepts multiple languages, not just English. You can try your own language, your own mother tongue for the prompt, and it delivers it to you in the same fashion, right? So as you can see, the tick mark here refers to translate part of it. And not only that, let's try and move on to the next platform, because we are right now just kind of exploring how text to image capabilities are. I move on to Adobe Stock. As you all know, we have access to, CCT Pro, of course, have access to uh, standard versions, standard assets, unlimited access to standard assets, be it photos, illustrations, vectors, uh, audios, templates, 3D for that matter. And it's a very interesting search engine wherein you can just say, for example, I type travel. So it's not just the keyword that I'm adding, but along with that, give it a second, I'll show you how parametric it is. As you can see, these filters, you can select from the kind of content that you want. Premium, standard, we all have access to standard assets here in our CCT plan. And if you want it transparent, isolated assets, you want assets which are generated by AI or not, icons, orientations, and whatnot. Uh, yes, any questions? Did anybody?
I request everyone to please mute your lines.
Thank you, Anna. Um, Yeah, include people, exclude people, commercial use, editorial use, and not only that, generate as in text to image capability. If you see, this platform is quite similar to Adobe Firefly, and look at the results that it's giving out. But what I'm more interested to show you right now is another capability. So say, for example, I selected one of these images. We have two options. So let me just show you how do I bring this option. I click on travel again. Allow it a few seconds. Yeah. So say, for example, I have this image. I click on this image, and if you notice, you have editing capabilities here. You can also save it to the library, which is something that I'm going to talk about in some time, and use this image. If suppose this is something that you're looking out for, you want more images to come out in the similar fashion, you can add this as a style reference. And it says we will reference the style from this image, and you can add a prompt and generate more outputs based on this particular image. But let's look at the editing capabilities here. I have this image selected. As you notice, when I'm hovering over it, it's highlighting something here. It's not highlighting the thing which is blurred, but it's definitely highlighting this image. And two options, two buttons right here. One is remove and the other is expand. Let's see what it does when I click on it. It gives me an option to delete. So say, for example, you're in a rush and you want to use this image, you don't want this female out here. So see, it's actually cleared up everything and given you an image which has got no people, no person over here. You can download it, use it for your presentation, for your brochure and whatnot. Or you can add many more things here if you want. Let's look at one more option. So say this girl, it's very busy, right, behind. Oh, sorry, I did it the other way. I reversed it. I reversed it and the background is gone. So, but maybe I want to remove this girl. It's done. It's easily, this is content aware feel, right here in Adobe Stock. With a click of a button, you don't need to know Photoshop or any design softwares for this, but I do not say that Photoshop and Illustrator, we don't need them. Of course, we need them because all these capabilities are already there. Yeah. Let's look at this other option, expand, as the name suggests. You have, again, those 4 aspect ratios. So say we use wide screen, want to use it as a banner in your website or in your microsite. It gives you alignment options, where you want it aligned, but it's a central aligned image. Let's try and create expansion this way. Allow it a few seconds and there's a result. Not only that, you have 3 options right here. Whichever one pleases you, you may go ahead and use these. So if you notice the left and right corner, that's how it looks at the wooden plank here and it replicates it here. So that's magical and really impressive. Don't you feel that, right? So let's move on to the presentation bit here again. We already looked at the demo. So few examples with the Firefly, advanced quality, very, very, very high quality, hyper realistic photographic quality is something that we are looking at with the latest image 3 model within Adobe Firefly. And the same capabilities are now being released in generative fill in Photoshop and Illustrator as well by the end of this month. Industrial images, manufacturing glass company. Look at the prompts that I've written down here. And if you have copywriters and scriptwriter friends or colleagues, please ask them for suggestions. They will create an interestingly montage for you, and those prompts work really great. Very, very useful tool for storyboarding, especially when you have sketches that you want to bring to life. A few hygiene facility faces with the kind of lights we see. Look at the prompt, it's the you have more enhanced control now. And but we still get a lot of questions on Indian faces. These are all good images, but what about Indian faces? I bring to you another capability here. Adobe Firefly has a capability to recognize the location according to your browser if it's turned on, and it generates images according to the location that you are in. And if not, we can always mention it in our prompt. Indian researchers is what I've mentioned, surrounded by shelves of chemicals, microscopes, computer screens, and whatnot. Uh, great, great images. The fingers are great. I mean, the features are really better this time. A few art type of content, construction site, herbal medicines, a very colorful beer, and whatnot. Let's talk more about Adobe Stock that we saw. As I mentioned, you have access to 300 standard assets from 375 million assets, which are there in Adobe Stock. Um, why we are talking about Stock is because of the diverse content it has got, and very high quality, very color corrected, and variety of content that we already have, be it Indian or be it non-Indian. AI powered search, because it kind of adapts to your prompt or your keywords so closely with Adobe Sensei capability that it usually adds more aesthetic to your prompts and generates images very close to your prompts. And of course, parametric capability, where you have a lot of filters that you can try from, refine your search even more, and get more faster results. Integrated workflows is what we're going to talk about. If you notice in Adobe Stock, you have access to libraries which are visible and used. Allow it a few seconds again to see. If you see, I have lots of libraries here, and I click on my Adobe library. It has got all the stock assets that you have in Adobe. It gets saved here, and you can also access these on Photoshop. As you can see, these are the color themes, etc. And the car and this thing that you notice, this is from Firefly. This is from, I've added it to it, Adobe Stock, and this image, and the colors and everything that you add on Illustrator. It is all integrated that way. And generated by you basically involves all the images that you've edited. You see these images that you've edited. If you go ahead and license them, they will come in this particular field. Moving on, very free licensing. We give you IP indemnification as well on these assets, but you have enhanced license as well, wherein you could use these or edit these assets for your company use, for your organizational use, and of course preserve your uh, creativity. Um, Streamlined workflows, as I already showcased, be it in InDesign, Photoshop, Stock, everything is synced here. Easy to search and license. So you look at hybrid workplaces, especially, hybrid, not only hybrid workplaces, people who are in different cities in the same offices, like Adobe, we have in Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangalore. We really work in collaboration and that too faster by keeping everything in one place. That's Creative Cloud Desktop Client, when we save all our assets and is accessible in Stock, Photoshop, and you name it, and you have the accessibility there. Creative cloud libraries is what I'm talking about, and you can review, comment, and do whatnot on the Creative Cloud library. Excuse me. Um, Eliminate repetitive tasks. You can look at the version history, you can look at the libraries, and you can find similar, as I mentioned, style references, similar images. So you're kind of reducing the working hours there. You're reducing the repetitive steps there. Even in Illustrator, for that matter, if you go here, you select, you just drag and drop. That's all you need to do. And not only that, when you open any design, for example, you try to create a new file, you see all the capabilities. I'm sure a lot of you might already know. For those of you who are not aware, you can find templates here on Adobe Stock and just click on it, click on create, and it automatically comes to your Illustrator. You're not downloading them into your system, but yes, of course, you're downloading it on the portal, on the cloud. That's the integration part of it. And moving on, library panel, as I showed you. Again, I would like to talk about how is it safe for your business. Adobe works on three principles: accountability, responsibility, and transparency. Our data is whatever we create is not trained on openly licensed sources. It is trained on Adobe Stock and for the images that we have write for, and content credentials are added to each and every image that you give. Any image that you get out of Firefly or Generative Fill in Photoshop or Illustrator, a content tag is added to it so that you know who has created it, with what prompt has been created, which software, and where it was created. So you have more transparency there, correct? Um, Adobe models, Firefly is developed on Adobe Stock and on domains which does not have copyright or any issue. And Adobe apps and tools are again integrated seamlessly. All this is fine, right? We've done a lot of inspiration, ideation, and everything. What about production part of it? You have a style guide. Your clients might have a style guide, a brand guideline that you want to look at. So let's see what Adobe has here. You notice? Allow me 1 second. I'll play it like this since it's creating some trouble. If you notice, there is something called a style reference where, say, for example, you have an X image, which is a mohawk guy. And when you click on style reference, it generates images according to the style reference. You look at the vintage feel that it has. Similarly, structure reference is the structure part of it which is adapted. So for example, you go to structure reference and generate more. I'll give you a live demo of this. It creates according to the structure that is fed into the system. You know what? Let's look at the live demo. We go back to Firefly and say, for example, we have a Napa leather sofa. Sorry, a plain sofa. 1 second. We have this 3D sofa and we don't have any texture here. Okay. It's a very simple 3D model that you have, no color, nothing. Can we bring this to life? Let's look at with structure reference, the composition part here. Let's look at the structure reference. I'm using the same sofa. And it goes ahead in the ethical, the way it is, it asks you whether you have right for it. The moment you select on continue, you are accepting that this image is for you and you have rights for this particular image. So we continue and we write red Napa leather sofa. Let's see what this does. I suggest to take the control towards extreme. You look at the strength, to take the control to the extreme end, to give it to give generations more closer to your references. As you can see, it's created the similar kind of a sofa, but my strength was less. So let's generate it again. And a similar sofa with this three kind of suits and in red color, with the model, with the position that you had the model in. And not only that, you have an extensive gallery that you can browse from. Look at the sofa. And if you remember, This was our sofa here. That's how great it is. But you all might remember I was talking about sketch storyboarding, right? Let's look at if it can create something in the sketch format. I have this shoe, as I mentioned, I'm representing maybe an e-commerce brand, and fashion is what I'm going to talk about. Furniture is what I'm going to talk about. Multiple varieties of products. This is a single line diagram that I have. Can we bring this to life? We just add it to the reference, pick up a prompt, or what was my prompt here? Um, maybe it's let's write um, shoes on a stone pier with uh, sunset over the sea. Let's look at the strength is full. It selected a nice, interesting prompt suggestion for me. And let's look at shoes on a stone pier with sunset over the sea. Let's allow it a few more seconds. Voila, here you go. It's created this with a simple line diagram. If you look at the shoe, it's a nice shoe. You see these two laces were missing in my sketch. So it's missing here as well. And it's added a nice texture to it. Interesting, right? Imagine you have a storyboard with images and everything. Let's try one more thing here. Maybe let's try this building over here. It's a simple under construction building. Let's see if Firefly can help us with creating a nice building, a modern building with balcony is what we want to try. Will it add lights to it? Will it add brickwork or facade or something here interesting? Very simple prompt, a modern building with balcony and yellow interior lights. I've not even added any style to it yet. Here it goes. It creates an entire building. My aspect ratio is that way. Creates an entire building with the simple prompt that I've given. Yellow lights, black facade, modern building, very conceptual or contemporary is what we talk about. Maybe we want it in this particular style. We add it as a style. You see this reference. Maybe we want it in this particular reference. Visual intensity is something that we increase. We increase the strength. Let's look at what it creates. You can see multiple of options here: vector style, sketch style, paper style, painting style that you can try from, acrylic, oil, and whatnot style. Look at that. It's accepted the style, the colors that we wanted. And not only that, it's actually created an astronaut around it. So that's how interesting this is. Let's look at a few more options. Look at this particular image. It's an elephant image. We experimented with the sketch style, with this reference, with this particular reference, and a vector reference. This is a simple sketch that we have, a single, not sketch, painting that we have, and in different style formats. It's adapted the reference and the style again. Look at this amazing doctor that we have, but in a style guide that we want. Sorry. And if you notice, all four of them have got spectacles here. And look at the depth, the lighting that it is adapted from this particular image. Very Indianized face. So if you have a particular style of your brand ambassador or of your client or any brand that you're working for, add it as a reference and try these prompts, different prompts and different styles. Similarly, you see this plank and this leaf is replicated over here. Here, the strength is not even that full, but still with the simple prompt, which is like bottle of pills on table, it's created a lot of things. This is a lotus temple, which is placed in a natural landscape of lake and mountain at the cloud moment. There is one more capability that I want to talk about, which is available for enterprise, Creative Cloud Enterprise. We call it object reference. Say, for example, we have this purse. When you add it, it asks you to remove background. You don't even go to Photoshop. You're removing it right here and removing the background, confirm it, and you write a prompt right over here. So yes, I have a prompt and paste it, remove the style reference, keep it very simple. If suppose you have any product of your own or for your clients, the background gets generated automatically. And to what extent is what we're going to see here. So the moment you add object, your structure reference goes off. Here you go. You notice the reflection bit, you can go ahead and resize it if it's not in perfect place. The reference, the shadow of the bag comes out. It looks so brilliant. The color tone of this entire image really reflects well with the bag that we have. You can move around this, move this bag around if it doesn't suit your position that you want. You can go and further edit this in generative fill, use this as a style reference itself, add text shapes and all into Express is something that I'm going to talk about. And you can go ahead and add it to your favorites as well. And you're good to go if you want to, because each prompt creates unique output. And that's the reason you save it or either download it, because you won't be able to access it again. Hence, you can add it to your favorites. And we have also style kits for our enterprise people to use the same prompt, same objects, same style, same structure reference to be shared with the team or with colleagues or with outsourced teams. So that's about Adobe Firefly. Let's look at what Photoshop has, and I'm sure a lot of people might have already been trying this. You add the same reference here, generative fill that you can experiment with, and whatnot. See, we're adding the spectacles here. A simple glimpse into this. As simple as that. You see, you have 3 variations here as well. You can access or save these in your library. You see all the generative fills are used as a mask. It does not harm your main image. And similarly, you create similar things in Illustrator as well. You see the capability here. I'm in beta and I want to create vectors. You see the same dialog box in Illustrator beta or Photoshop beta, and soon we will have the same dialog box in Photoshop and Illustrator, the release license as well. You have option to create a scene, a subject, an icon. So say, for example, you want to create a scene with the detail and you write a prompt, boat by the seashore, for example. You have a lot of effects that you can select from, maybe with the mountain range. Let's see what it creates. And this is all vector generation. You notice my library is right here, as I showed you earlier. You can share link for the review of this. You can share it with people, as you notice. So this is what it created. One, let's go to property and see. 1, 2, I'll move the contextual text bar. 3, not bad, right? I mean, it's full vector. You can go ahead and change the color of these or adapt it to you according to your requirements. Not only that, you can create, recolor a lot of things. So say you go to object, you go to edit, you edit colors, you can go to regenerative colors, select from the lot of options that you have, or you can write your own prompts for different colors, add your different colors. So say, for example, you want it very subdued, very subtle. You look at the options that you already get. So if you want it in, say, this style, it's created in this style. And not only that, you can add, so say I copy paste it here, make it a little small, and you want it on the t-shirt. You can create a mock-up right here. Go to mock-up, create mock-up. Okay, there's an unknown error right now. But if you, let's look at it, Illustrator. Yeah, here you go. This is the image. It's independent of the creative. And go to object. And if you notice, it creates a mockup automatically. It snaps to your um, mockup image that you have. Yes, make sure you use very less heavy files. And you see it also gives you a lot of option here. So say, for example, you want to use a bag. You can use a bag, use this particular image. If I click on it, this is a licensed image. You drag and drop. Here you go. I've created all these images by snapping, by mockup feature. You see, it's already here. See? You don't have to get into turn, curves, and whatnot. Just snaps it. You can go ahead and blend it if you need it to be more in sync with the background that it is imported on. So this brings us to the next exciting thing, which is Adobe Express, a power tool for marketers. I'll quickly talk about this since we are already on a clock. Yes, let's look at Adobe Express directly into the demo. As you can see, this is an Adobe Express platform, and you have templates designated according to the departments: marketing, human resource, sales. Great for designers. So say, for example, you have designer who's created a master template for you. You just and you want to make textual changes. You come from a social media background or a marketing background, and you can make those changes, and you want to uh, lessen the burden on your creative folks. You can always ask them the Illustrator and Photoshop files. Just drag and drop in here and add few things, change few things, and create a lot of things here. So for example, right now, let's pick up a flyer. So say we pick up this particular flyer. You can create templates by simple prompts as well, but that's a larger discussion that we can have. Um, so say, for example, you have this flyer, you've dragged and dropped this Illustrator file into your Adobe Express. You can go ahead and create your own brand guideline. If you see here, we can come to brand, and you can add your brand, look for your brand, can be shared, which are shared with you. You can have a look at it. You see, for example, I have my Adobe brand here. My brand is accessible here as well. Color palettes, the fonts assigned to body, header, and whatnot, the assets that we already have. You can drag and drop things here. It goes ahead, drag and drop, remove background. So many capabilities right here. See, it's working in the background. If you don't want this image, you can just add your sofa, and it's right here in Adobe Express. Right, for now, it's all in layers and very simple to use. Say, for example, you want people, you can control if people can move around your layers. And also say, for example, this is your logo. No, this is not my logo. Let's maybe, go to brand, pick up your logo. I want to pick up this white. Sorry. This is the logo that I have. And I want to get rid of this logo. I want this logo. I want it to remove the background. While it works, I can just drag and drop here. This is a logo that I've picked up from brand. I have not even gone to my system and any folders. I've done it right here. I don't remember what is the font for my brand. So maybe if we go ahead and check in the libraries, you can access all your libraries here as well. This is the font that we use for Adobe, for example, and maybe in the colors also. These are all Adobe colors. So maybe if I want red, maybe we want black, but white looks great, right? Maybe this is not our brand color. We go ahead and change it to red. This is not our brand color. As you notice, this is not something that you want. Go ahead, change it to red. Okay, this is a double layer. As you can see, you can change it, get into this and change the color. You can go ahead, change it here, change the color and do whatnot. But not only that, what if I was talking about scaling these ads, right? We need it for different geographical locations, different sizes and whatnot. Let's resize this for maybe a poster, maybe for an infographic. This does not have infographic data, but maybe an Instagram post, maybe a YouTube thumbnail, maybe an Instagram carousel, and the variety of things that we have. Maybe even in a custom size if you want it. Maybe web banner, email header, presentation. For example, you just duplicate and resize it, and it gets resized in multiple sizes with the same content. You can just increase or decrease thing according to your requirements, and it's created with a click of a button in few seconds, right? Not only that, you can go ahead and translate this. So say, for example, I want to translate it into Gujarati. Click on it. Bangla. Click on it. Hindi. Multiple languages. Click on it. You want all the pages, duplicate, and all the pages is all the sizes that we created earlier. Duplicate and translate. And it creates all these ads in multiple languages. People, Gujarati people in the house, please see if it is correct or wrong or how it is. It gets into a really beautiful translation at times, but sometimes, it might create literal translations, but most of the times it creates really amazing translations when it comes to call to actions and whatnot. You can go ahead and edit few things here if you want. And, Apatkaling Kit Nirman Divas is what it says, which gives you a validation that the translations are really beautiful. If you want, we can have a look at one of the Hindi one. आपदा का सामना करने के लिए तैयार रहें, एक व्यापक किट तैयार करें जो आपको किसी भी आपदा के दौरान सुरक्षित रहने में मदद करेगी. Not bad, right? 9 बजे से लेकर शाम को 5 बजे तक and all. Everything is so perfect here right now. This is an image which we cannot change, and maybe that's why, because it's a website, is something that's why it's not translated there. And because websites are not usually there in Hindi, so it's not gone ahead and translated that. Not only that, you can go ahead and schedule this, publish it, share it as a template with your people, have more control. So say, for example, Adobe is a logo. You don't want people to move it around. You lock it so that they don't disturb this layer. And you can share it as a remixable template, and or share it as a link, or even schedule a post. You have a post, but then you don't know what to write as a caption for that post. Just say emergency kit or whatever prompt that you had. Generate new caption. It will recognize your page. It's recognizing your page. It's generating a caption. Something went wrong. Let's do it again. So here you go. It's created a caption with the hashtags. You just insert it and make your own monthly calendar. All the social media marketing folks. Great way to go about it.
Sorry
Hello.
to disturb in between. Sorry to disturb in
Yes.
between. I think the screen is not moving.
Oh, really? Okay. I hope I'll just reshare. I hope it's visible now.
It's yet to
Yes,
appear.
Abhay.
Yeah. When did it stop moving? So I can just re-show that thing.
Post the translate thing.
Okay. So I just showed how to share this. You can lock it. I've locked the logo layer here so that when you share it with your folks, you don't want them to move this around. You can just lock it. You can share it as a post. Write, say you don't know the caption about it. Emergency kit is all that you write, and it can generate caption right here with the hashtags as I mentioned earlier, but this is a preview for you all here. So it's created smileys and emoticons, and with the hashtags, you just add it, create your own monthly calendar here, right here. And you can add multiple pages here, it could be videos and whatnot. It could duplicate the sizes of the videos as well over here. So
Alicia, once again, it has blacked out. Is it only to me or to the others who are listening in the feed?
Working fine
No,
here.
it's actually, yeah, it's working fine.
okay.
It's okay for me as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm almost nearing to the end. I hope this express was visible to everybody, the last bit of it. So that was express for you all. And the use cases are lots. You can localize your content, run a lot of social media campaigns without studio or creative department, but do have your creative department in picture. CCT Pro and Stock Edition gives you 20 plus desktop and mobile app. Adobe Express is also on mobile phone. So you can experiment there. We give you Firefly with indemnification on the assets or the generations that you have. Adobe Express with Firefly and unlimited Adobe Stock standard assets with enhanced license. And why Adobe Firefly? We already spoke about it. We believe in three things: accountability, responsibility, and transparency. We have a review board who takes care of it. Adobe is a founding member of Content Authenticity Initiative, and we believe in a very genuine and transparent content creation. These are a few customer success stories that we have from a Fortune 500 customer. Adobe itself, have seen 80% faster designing and creation and ideation capabilities with the usage of generative AI. I hope you like this presentation. It was a lot of efforts from generative AI. Of course, my demo sessions are completely on generative AI. So you can see how beautiful it comes out. And the results are really amazing by IBM, global agencies, Aristocrat. A lot of use cases that we have. Let's look at future of Firefly. A lot to come in text to video capabilities, Firefly in video, text to video, B-roll, storyboarding with Firefly, how you can create storyboards, short details very simply is what you can see. An exciting roadmap of innovation ahead. We'll get more control, more better quality, as you can notice here, more better quality, faster generations. We are trying to reduce the speed it takes, the time it takes to create these outputs, and more to come in video and audio, text to audio and text to video. We shall have some good, exciting innovations happening by the end of this year. So stay tuned. With that, I end my presentation. I conclude my presentation. I hope you all liked it. And do we have time for a quick question and answer session, MB team?
Yes, yes, definitely. We can just go for a few questions.
Yes, yes.
So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask, or you can also put it in the chat box and, we will address them one by one.
Yes, more than happy. Can we get the recording? MB, that is for you.
Yes. Let me just check and I will share it over with you.
Also, if we run this Adobe India Ambassador program on YouTube, we deep dive into softwares and generative AI capabilities. A lot of topics that your creative folks could, get a lot of resourceful suggestions or workflows from. Please do visit Adobe India Ambassador program. I'm not able to type here, Srishta, so if you could type it, or I can share um, details of it. Any other questions apart from the recording?
I can see Anant has raised his hand.
Right. I just
Yes,
wanted
yes.
to understand what is the license cost for Firefly or Adobe Express?
I think that our sales team would be much better capable to address. MB, you can take these questions later on with these individual people. So I am more of a technical person who talk about the capabilities here. You want to
I
join in,
just have
Shrestha, for
one.
this? Yeah.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
While I was working on generative fill, so
Okay.
when I'm applying a generative fill to a background on when I want to hold the foreground and do it, what happens at times is the image that is getting generated, the perspective that the image falls into the background, and also the kind of clarity that comes in, it looks little blurred and not actually in the
Yeah.
perspective of how we want it. And also the thing is,
Yeah.
if I like a specific background, it's impossible for me to select that background and edit it the way I want it. So
Select the background and edit it in the sense
it gives a list of options of backgrounds which I can
three
select from.
variations.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. Variations.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
really like a particular variation, but I feel the perspective of that background and the way it is kept is not okay, is it possible for me to take it forward and re-edit and work on that particular background?
Yes, definitely. You can merge the layer with your main image that wherever you've added it or created that generative fill, and write it in your prompt, or write, if you have any reference, you can add a reference also there in Photoshop now. And I suggest you try a few generative fill in Photoshop beta as well. You get much more enhanced generations. And as I mentioned earlier, The resolution part of it was something that was a major concern with our previous model. And the model that I showcased you all in Firefly is the latest Image 3 model, which is now getting released in Photoshop as well. Photoshop now uses, earlier it used to use Image 2 model. Now it uses Image 3 model, so you have more enhanced creations. And in case you want to better the resolution of it, if you are a Lightroom user, download that image in Lightroom and you have a one-click solution, again the generative AI, where you can enhance the resolution of it, resolution of the creation that you have. That is part one. Second is experiment with Photoshop Beta. When you go to Photoshop Beta, for example, I'm just going to showcase my screen again. Here I am, and just so for example, this is my, I had this generation, I created these earrings. If you notice in your properties, this is the generation that we have. So this is the generation that we have. You notice this small button here. I hope my screen is visible. If you notice a small button here, you can go ahead and click it and it enhances that generative fill that you have. Might work out for you. And if not, if it's a large image, I request you to select one by one. So you go to your selection, select one by one. You generate this, generate fill. Select it again, little bit, generate fill. So it gives you much better resolution out there. And if you want it in a particular angle, have you tried neural filters? Hello?
No, Alicia, I think this way of working it out, I have not tried it. I'll try to use it in the beta version. I'll
Yes.
check it out.
Yes, even you have neural filters, and this particular version that I'm talking about, apart from the enhance button, this is all is there in your Photoshop release software as well. If you go to filter, you go to neural filters, there are a lot of angles that you can experiment with. So say there is a smart portrait and you click on it. No faces because I've selected my, 1 second, I'll cancel this. So say for example, I select this, I deselect this. I am in my main image. Now don't forget that you have to select your layers properly. Go to neural filters. It will detect your face, smart portrait. You select it. You can add a lot of things here. Make her smile, make her cry, and do not whatnot. Can smoothen the skin. You see, she's smiling a bit. Head direction, this, that. You have to experiment a lot here. See, she's moved to that particular angle. Try this with your generative fill if you want to move around any things. Photo restoration is also great for black and white photos, old photos, wherein you could, those cracks and all is something that you can fill. This is all in your release Photoshop software and in your beta software. Just go crazy with all these options. Transfer, style transfer, landscape mixer. If I give you a session on this, I probably will need 1 more hour. But curiosity is the key here. Experiment and you'll find a lot of useful cases with neural filters here. I hope I
Thanks,
answered my
Alicia.
question.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you. I'll take it forward from here. Thank you.
great. Anything else? Questions related to subscriptions and the cost bit of it, I request all of you to please reach out to your sales people or the people who are addressing your organizations from Adobe or from a partner. Shrishta, please correct me if I'm wrong. They can reach out to you for all the subscription and the license related things. Um,
Yes.
yeah. Any other question? I think that's it. So I would again conclude with a big thank you to all of you for being a great audience. And thank you so much for giving your time today. And thank you, MB team, for having me here. It was really great. And
Uh,
for all the support. Yes, tell me, Srishta.
thank you so much, Alicia. It was a very insightful, wonderful, and an amazing session. And
Thank
I
you.
would like to thank each and every one of you who's, taken your time out of the busy day to attend this webinar. So thank you so much. You can, reach out to us about the subscriptions, the license cost, everything on the number given on the chat box.
Yeah, I'm just writing down the name here, which you can go ahead and check out our channel. And we also have a registration link out there, so you can attend all these sessions if you want. These are a little different, very creative, technical sessions. So thank you so much, everybody. Bye bye. Have a good day.